All right, let's move on over to talking about some of the highlights from this week's episodes of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. First, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. And Brian, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, I think the focus of this episode, the narrative here, let's focus on the build to WrestleMania. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We're starting to see different matches and storylines play out here, and we kind of get an idea of who's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania this year. With that being said, though, let's talk about the build to these respected matches. Are they good? Are they bad? Is it underwhelming? Are we excited? What are your emotions here? Because I think that's kind of been the big dialogue online right now is how are people feeling with the matches that we're seeing starting to play out and going to be on the card for WrestleMania? Are people digging it or not digging it? I think a lot of people have a lot to say about what they've been seeing on week to week, every week on television. For Raw this week, though, this past Monday, they were live in Belgium. Is that what it was?
Yep. Brussels.
Yeah. Brussels. Yeah. So let me see here.
Very electric crowd.
Yeah. And then on SmackDown, they're over in Barcelona in Spain. First off, bravo to these European crowds. They have been fired. They've been energetic. And it's like, take note, America. You guys need to step up your game when you're at a wrestling show. Participate, interact, cheer, boo, sing along, all that good stuff. Get off your phone and watch the actual event right there in front of you.
I feel like it fuels the wrestlers too.
Oh, absolutely. And I saw something online. People were saying maybe Raw and SmackDown should do more shows overseas. Like, I know this is a big 3-week tour that they're doing right now in Europe on the road to WrestleMania. And they just announced another set of European dates, I think in the summertime, right? I think it was, which is as well. So, but yeah, listen, I know WWE, it's a US based promotion, but keep in mind the first W in WWE is World. So we saw was the last couple of years they've been doing more pay-per-views, premium live events in other countries. And these Raw and SmackDowns have been doing really well in other countries. So yeah, maybe this could be something more of the future. They just do more events in other countries, which, here in America, we've been, what's the word I'm thinking of? We've been very lucky to have so many shows here in America for years, but I don't blame WWE want to do more shows in other countries for better crowd reaction. So it's like, come on, America, step up your game here. So, all right. The big event from this week that everyone's talking about is John Cena, his first promo since turning heel. And Brian, we have a chance to ask you your thoughts on John Cena's big heel turn from Elimination Chamber a couple weeks ago.
I loved it.
Of course you would.
I loved it. I do wish the execution was a little bit not so predictable. I mean, I think everybody had to have caught on at some point in the ring when Cena was being overly hyped and dramatic over Cody denying the offer of The Rock, the final boss, right? But so if I could critique one thing about the actual moment, that would probably be one thing, because I knew once Cody said no, go F yourself. I was and then Cena's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, something's up.
Well, that's the thing, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but that's been John Cena's MO as far as his body language in the ring over the last couple years. I call it it's like the Will Ferrell effect. Will Ferrell in a lot of his movies, he kind of plays the same, like over the top, dumbfounded. Oh my God. Oh, what's this? Oh, but yes, John Cena does that, but also he's very energetic, animated, and he's like look at the performance of the Royal Rumble this year. He was like, hey, you guys, we're all in the ring together. Hi, yuck. Hey, how's it going? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Like this is why you need to watch the video version of the podcast. My performance here, but that's what I'm saying. He's been very hey, you're right, over the top, animated. Hi,
especially with his eyes. He's like,
he's not like that killer instinct that we saw maybe 10 years ago, especially when he was like Super Cena, or back in like the days of like the bloodbath he had with JBL and whatnot. Like he's not like that killer instinct type wrestler, the hunter that we used to see back in the day, the aggressive. He's been more goofy here. But yeah, no, sorry. Anything else from the heel turn that stood out for you? With the Rock and stuff, other than just
I think
over the top animated.
other than that, I do think that it was done very well. I loved the addition of Travis Scott. He slapped the eardrum off of Cody.
I hope Cody got a receipt ready for him. I hope he gets it. I hope Cody slaps him at WrestleMania. I think that might be the biggest pop of the night. If Cody can like get a punch in, a smack, a slap, whatever, to Travis Scott's face, he'd be like, bam, like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's coming.
I hope so. I hope so.
I thought it was good though. I was excited. I was on the edge of my seat. It's almost surreal. You see somebody like him who's such an icon and who's such a legend, who has been a good guy forever, right? I mean, most people don't even remember the last time he was a bad guy, technically, right? At the beginning, Doctor of Thugonomics.
Exactly, because that was like what, 03?
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's not like when people say, "Oh, he's finally turning heel. He's never been a heel." I'm like, well, yeah, this version of him, he's never been a heel. But if you've been watching Cena, you know what he can do and how he was, at least back then. So I'm excited to see how this is going to work for the next 4 weeks and how this is going to pan out. Also, The Rock, you can't tell me that he's not good. Like, he's so good. I think he handled that segment extremely well. He's very, very calculated. He the
I like it was like double fingers. It wasn't just like one finger. It was like he had to do double finger, like slit the throat.
He handles that ring like it's his, literally, like making that entrance. I mean, it is electric every single time he makes an appearance. And I was thinking actually yesterday, I was like, man, like The Rock is so good at what he does. Like, I think he's definitely bounced back from almost taking Cody's spot last year at WrestleMania.
That's the thing too, and that's something I mentioned I think a week or two ago. If you really think about it, how do I phrase? I want to make sure I get the phrasing right. Imagine last year if things would have played out as The Rock wanted. It was just him versus Roman. Cody, even though you won the Royal Rumble, you got to go sit this one out and let the two family members have their match at WrestleMania. Imagine if that just would have played out. What different world, alternate reality we would have been in. The domino effect that would not have happened. Cody would never finish his story. Who knows? Who knows if he would have finished it this year? Or maybe we would have lost all his momentum, would have been too little too late. And we never would have got heel John Cena. So you really think about the Cody denying The Rock of facing Roman last year at WrestleMania, and instead, like, no, I won the Royal Rumble. I'm having my match with Roman Reigns, which led to what we're at now, the domino effect. He beat Roman at WrestleMania. We actually got The Rock back in the ring, though. Remember night one, Cody and Seth versus Roman and The Rock. So we got The Rock back in the ring for that. Cody won the title the next night, finished his story, his year-long title reign. And then John Cena turning heel this year. So really kind of domino effects. It's been kind of amazing of what we've been able to see as a wrestling fan that we didn't think was going to happen. So with that being said, though, the heel turn at Elimination Chamber, we've been waiting for him to cut a promo, show up on Raw, and explain himself. So this week it was announced that John Cena was going to speak and explain himself for his decision. And let's go ahead and just kind of recap the highlights of what he said in this promo here. There's a lot to break down here. So first, let's talk about the presentation. he kicked off Raw this week. You hear his old theme song. Well, I mean old, like his current one that he's been using for years. It's the same one. So we didn't get a new entrance music that I think a lot of people want to hear. He comes out wearing the same ring gear that he always wears. I mean, it's the personalized one for Belgium that they're at in Brussels. But it's just the retirement tour shirts that they've been making for every city that he's been appearing at. So it was nothing new. The only difference was he had more of just a serious look on his face. He didn't talk to the cameraman and he didn't run to the ring. He just walked to the ring. That was the only thing different from his body language. So, Brian, your thoughts there, just the presentation of John Cena, more or less just the same. Oh, Brian, your audio went out.
Sorry about that.
Okay, there you go. Okay, did John Cena attack you?
And Cena, he sabotaged my audio.
He's like, you're not gonna talk bad about me. Sorry. As you
so no, so I think I said I usually don't. I usually when stuff like this happens, when I don't know what to expect, I go into it completely open-minded. Like I don't, you know, I know that there's things that I wish and hope for, but I'm also realizing and understanding that there's 4 weeks for this to play out, and I know that I'm probably not going to get everything I want right off the bat.
Okay.
Plus, there might be something special planned for, you know, good old John at the grandest stage of them all, right? So in terms of like his look, I knew as soon as I seen the John Cena Brussels t-shirt that was on WWE Shop's Twitter and Instagram and everything that day, I knew. I was like, yeah, he's not coming out with any new merch. Like they have this, right? And I'm okay with that. I think they were in the right country, in the right city at the right time, because that crowd let him hear it. It you know, it felt like Money in the Bank 2011 all over again,
with
right?
CM Punk, yeah.
With CM Punk. And so yeah, I thought him walking down to the ring, barely holding up the towel, didn't say anything to Stu. I think he should beat Stu up. I think he should beat Stu. One of these weeks, he's got to beat Stu up, like just beat him up on the way to the ring and grab the camera Rock style, right? Remember when Rock grabbed the camera himself when I forgot who he was in the ring with.
Yeah.
He should grab the camera himself and just beat up Stu and say, get out of here. But yeah, the presentation was really, really good. The music and the ring gear didn't bother me because I was just like, aside from what he said, and I know we'll get to it, I was just like, okay, well, we still got weeks and weeks ahead. I was more concerned with what he said, and there were some things that he said that got my attention. There were some things he didn't say that I wish he had said.
Yeah.
Also.
So, okay, with the ring gear, as far as wearing just the same clothes, promoting the merch that he was promoting as a baby face, jumping ahead in the promo, he said, you know, there's a toxic relationship with me and the fan base, the WWE universe. You guys want me to be a heel. You want me to be bad. You want me to change my look and everything. Well, nah, I'm not doing it to please you guys. So that's the quick answer or reasoning for him maintaining the same look he's always had for the last 20 years. Reality, though, or conspiracy theory, I think it kind of confirms the report. There was a report last week in the news that I guess The Rock originally wanted Cody to turn heel this year and align himself with the final boss, but Cody Rhodes turned down that idea, and so the backup plan was to have John Cena turn heel. So it makes you wonder, based on the fact that merch was still the same and did not change, it shows that, okay, maybe John Cena turning heel was a last minute decision, because keep in mind, he announced last year 2025 was going to be his retirement year, his final year wrestling full-time or wrestling at all for WWE. And so with that being said, they announced all these dates he's going to be doing for WWE. It's going to be the final time he's at that city or that event, all that stuff. And they have custom merch made for each stop on this retirement tour. And I'm sure WWE did that knowing this is going to be a big money maker. We're going to make a lot of money selling all these shirts and hats and all the other John Cena related gear and merchandise on this retirement tour. And I'm sure they anticipate they're going to sell a lot of that as him being a baby face. But because of this last minute decision creatively for him to go heel, that doesn't, they're like probably, that doesn't align with our plans of all this merch we had made. So that's my conspiracy theory, that this was a last minute decision of him turning heel for the storyline for WrestleMania, be based on the fact that all the merch is still the same. He had the same look and everything because they got merch to sell. They got to keep that going. So that's my thinking there.
Still looking like a Fruity Pebble.
So I do appreciate him trying to, like, from a kayfabe standpoint, explain why he has the same look. But in reality, money talks. It is a business. They got money to make with all this merch there. So let's go ahead and talk about the promo itself and what he talked about here. After he came out to, John Cena sucks, the crowd was red hot, yelling, John Cena sucks. He's looking around the ring. He threatens to leave. He threatens to put the mic down and walk out, all that stuff. He comes back in. Then we hear, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. It's super loud, super hot crowd. And it's perfect to be in Europe because this is a crowd that doesn't get to see WWE live that often. So they're going balls to the wall, putting all their energy out there to really just sell at home that they hate John Cena now. Crowd was saying, you sold out, all this stuff. So John Cena started his promo saying, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. And he actually posted it on his Twitter page earlier that day. He added, you're making this easy. You're making this so easy for me. For 25 years, I've been the victim. I have been the victim of an abusive relationship. And then the crowd started booing. And, Brian, to a certain extent, that is true. The crowd has been mixed on him for a long time and never fully embraced him, especially when he was at the top of the company. He called them hurtful and abusive, and all they ever did was bully him into being their puppet while expecting him to do it with a smile on his face. No more. And they started chanting, F you, Cena, F you, over and over. And he was pointing the mic to the crowd. That was pretty funny. He said he's not a baby face or a heel. He was a human being, which is interesting for him to use wrestling terms in the promo, like baby face and heel. That's what people outside of the business or whatever we talk about it as. But for him to actually use those wrestling terms, I know Vince McMahon hated those terms being acknowledged on live TV. So it's definitely different. All the fans have been awful to him. It's been the same noise for 25 years. I was going to say it's been more like 20 years. Like, didn't he debut
maybe
in 2002 with the Kurt Angle segment? But maybe you count the prototype years in the early 2000s, man.
Okay.
When he first arrived, they let him know that they hated him. He changed himself, hoping they would like him, but it wasn't enough. That was kind of true. The Dr. Thugonomics, they hated him. Changed himself. He also became Super Cena and started winning all the time, but they still hate him for that. And as he mentioned, so he worked hard like he always did, and then he won and won and won and won. I guess that's referring to the Super Cena years in the early 2010s. He won a lot, and they hated it. He spent the next 10 years of his life trying to give everything he possibly could, but it wasn't enough. And the crowd was still just yelling at him. In his final moments, he could have just walked away. He announced his retirement in advance and tried one last time to get along with the fans, but they ruined it. They just like they ruined everything. Like always, it was great for 2 seconds, but it wasn't enough. And the crowd started doing the goodbye song. Na, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. And he said in that moment, that's when the fans were proving his point. No matter what he did, it was never enough. All they ever did was take and take and take. They only cared about themselves. Cena put his values on the line, but all they could think about was what they were getting. None of them asked how he was feeling. Now that they were getting what they earned, and that was nothing. Going back to like, he's not changing his look, all this stuff. You're going to take it as it is. I'm not changing myself for you guys. You just got to take it as it is. They weren't getting a new look. They dressed him. He didn't dress like them. They were getting they weren't getting new music. That his voice that's his voice in his song. Their time was up. His time was now. All they're getting was a chance to look at him and excuse me. All they were getting was a chance to look in the mirror and realize how awful they have been for 25 years. The fans chanted for Cody Rhodes, and Cena knew they would because he was their shiny new toy. They kept proving his point. They're all awful people, and none of them were safe, especially those who he could pick out of the crowd. He pointed out people who were still wearing his shirt, like the Let's Go Cena people.
That's good stuff.
The Cena sucks jackoffs have already been proving themselves awful people, but Let's Go Cena people were too. He asked what they ever done to support him. All they ever did was steal from him. They stole from him and took his time. And they made the same invisible joke for 15 years, and they still thought it was funny. Excuse me. It was pathetic. They were pathetic. He said they wore his shirts to feel good. They wore words like hustle, loyalty, and respect, but he lived them every day. They didn't support him. They used him as an excuse for their pathetic failure of a life. All they ever did for 25 years was sit on their asses watching him be great. He was in a toxic relationship, and he was breaking up with all of them. Whether they liked it or not, they were dumped. And then John Cena, that's when he pointed out to the little kid in the crowd dressed like him. Poor kid. He told
said, I love you.
So we'll talk about him in a second. John Cena then said, I don't need you anymore. I don't care about you. You don't matter to me. There's no noise you can make. There's nothing you can do because you know I'm right and you know you're wrong. So, all right, Cody Rhodes comes out. But before that, let's talk about John Cena's message here to the crowd. Definitely a long promo. I like the whole segment, I think was like near a half an hour. It was really long. Yeah. I almost thought they could maybe cut some of this down a little bit, but I get it. It's a huge moment in WWE. It's a huge moment in all pro wrestling history. So they probably thought, let's give John Cena as much time as he wanted here to voice his frustration. But yeah, Brian, let's kind of dissect this a little bit. Just your overall thoughts on his message to the crowd. This was, listen, when someone turns heel, they always kind of start out with the "you people suck" type of promo. This was very much one of those, but it kind of makes sense of the actual frustration his character got from the fans for so many years. But yeah, your thoughts on what he said in this promo.
I thought it was good. You know, I thought it was a very appropriate "you people" type of promo from John Cena because he was right. And I mean, it wasn't, I'll say this, it wasn't what I know a lot of people were expecting him to just go right in and say. And there were, there was things that people wanted him to address that he didn't, but the promo was true. Everything he said was true. The fans have been fickle. Daniel Bryan has been saying this forever. The fans are fickle. They've been seesawing him. Listen, I think back to the days where he was jobbing out to Brock Lesnar, losing 1 minute, losing in 1 minute, 2 minute matches, getting bloodied up, taking elbows, getting abused by that goon. Okay, and nobody said anything. They were excited. They were happy that Brock Lesnar was champion. Okay,
he took a knee to the face from to his nose from Seth Rollins.
Nobody felt bad for him. Oh, but Sting takes a buckle bomb, and now all of a sudden everyone's mad at Seth Rollins, right? I'm like,
you're right.
On. Everything he said was right. I mean, they even made him. I mean, they turned him into a United States champion defender at WrestleMania. Like, how do you, like, this is John Cena we're talking. You push. I think while a lot of people were upset about Roman's rise, hey, you were pushing John Cena out of the way. That's why we got Roman. Because everybody was speaking how upset and how displeased they were about Cena being shoved down our throats.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, now as far as the toxic relationship with the fans, yes, his character has been very decisive over the years. Hence why the "Let's Go Cena sucks." There's a reason for that chant for so many years. Now, granted, when he was Dr. doctor of thugonomics. He was a heel, but then eventually he became a baby face. It evolved back to a baby face. He won the U.S. title initially, then he eventually won a WWE championship. Was it the following year, WrestleMania, all that stuff. And, early on when he was a baby face again and winning U.S. titles and the WWE title, the fans loved him and embraced him. It just was, if I remember correctly, now this timeline, like, I don't know all of it because when Cena was on the rise in those early years, I was in college at the time, so I wasn't watching as much wrestling at that point. So I always thought about going back and rewatching a lot of that stuff. But that era, everyone loved him. They were cheering for him, reacting to him very positively. Mm-hmm. They started turning on him. Was that when like he was winning all the time, became kind of like a little too predictable? And also, I think the creatives was just getting really bad at that point, if I remember correctly. It's just the creative wasn't in his favor. It just, the crowd didn't like it. And I think they took it out on John Cena because they were so upset with Vince McMahon's direction at the time. If I remember correctly, please, if you're watching right now, leave a comment down below your thoughts of like, why did the crowd start turning on John Cena like 15 years ago with the "Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks" chants? But if I remember correctly, I think it was just him like doing Super Cena, winning all the time, which he did say here. I was winning a lot. He said because he improved himself, he realized he needed to get better for the crowd to like him. So he started winning more. But I think that was a cool way of acknowledging the Super Cena years where he was just dominant, winning all the time. And I think people hate someone who wins all the time and maybe someone else that they're a fan of doesn't have a chance to win it all. So, let's see what else was here. Let's see. They hated him.
I feel like John, he could have gone. He could have said a lot more. I mean,
yes.
From getting squashed by the Undertaker, WrestleMania 30,
lost to Austin Theory. 2 years ago. Let's not forget about that. Let's see. We'll get into him a second there. Oh God, what a 2-year fall he's been on. Let's see. You're right though. Like I feel like he didn't acknowledge everything. This promo, I'm guessing he's spreading it out as far as this heel turn and the evolution of this heel that he's on right now, this journey that he's on, the story here. I think they're going to spread it out because he has multiple appearances lined up before WrestleMania. So maybe each promo is going to be designed for a specific topic that he wants to get into. So this first one, I think was just him explaining why he turned on the fans.
This was the letter to the C Nation. That's what
exactly. Yeah. But I'm with you. There was things he did not bring up. Case in point, the biggest one, he didn't talk about why did he align himself with The Rock. The Rock wasn't even brought up at all, or Travis Scott. The final boss wasn't brought up in this promo. Now, maybe that's by design, that they want to save that for another promo down the road, maybe next week, the week after, whatever he's going to come back again. I think was it Meltzer or something? Is like maybe there's something going on we don't know about. Maybe The Rock's backing off now. Who knows? Everyone's trying to come up with theories explaining, but I hope the next promo Cena does explain why did he align himself with The Rock, or at least in that moment at Elimination Chamber, if it's going to be a long-term partnership or not. I hope we get some explanation there. That's important for all of us from what we saw at Elimination Chamber. Calling out Cody Rhodes as far as he's the new shiny toy right now. Like I'm the old one putting out the pasture. You guys know I'm going out and retirement. I'm about to retire. So now you're hating on me even more and loving Cody. Let's see.
What an ovation they gave Cody though. That was special.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else from this promo we need to say? Let's see. Looking into some of the notes here. Yeah, I just said everything I did was never enough. You guys just take. Oh, the merch stuff. That's right. He says the people that said Cena sucks. Yeah, I hate you guys. You never liked me. But the ones that say let's go Cena. He's like, you're just as bad. You guys just take from me. That one, I mean, that point was a little off to me. It's like, well, yeah, people supported you by buying your merch. They didn't steal the merch. They bought the merch. They put their hard-earned, they used their hard-earned money to buy your clothes with your face on it or your words on it. But I like he tried to spin it. It's like, you guys wear the words I say. I live those words in my life. You guys are losers and just you guys don't actually live up to those words as well. You don't deserve it. So he's trying to spin it around in a negative way. But, I was a little taken back. So you guys just steal from me, the ones that actually did like me. Well, yeah, they did support you by buying the merch. That just, did not make sense. And let's see. But yeah, acknowledging about he wasn't going to change his look, his music, his theme, everything for you guys. He's like, you're going to take it. He's like, that's even more heel move. Just keep it as it is. I'm not going to satisfy you guys with a new look that you've been wanting. Let's see. And then, he broke up with the fans. He's like, we're done. This relationship's over. It's been a toxic relationship. I'm over. I enjoyed the promo. The delivery at first, like I watched it the first time, and maybe because I was kind of busy watching stuff, I was kind of like, at first to me, it kind of felt like he was being a little goofy, like over the top, over dramatic delivery and stuff, and kind of in line with what we talked about earlier. Like I feel like the last couple of years he's been this more over the top with his emotions. But then as I was rewatching it, I could definitely see he was expressing his a lot of emotions in anger. So I was like, when I took the time to actually pay attention closely, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. He's frustrated. He's venting. In some ways, I kind of felt like he was like a rich, spoiled brat venting to the crowd. Like, things are not going my way, and this is why not going my way, and this is why I'm pissed off. So I kind of like, that's how I kind of interpret, like, in my head, maybe the type of character he in his head what he was going for. I'm kind of curious if he ever does like a shoot interview and explain like, who was he trying to base this character on, this heel character of him. But yeah, he kind of came off like as a spoiled brat who was upset that things weren't going his way.
I mean, even if just look at the situation. He was on a how long losing streak? Not one person online said anything about him being buried. They didn't say anything. They didn't say that. They didn't care.
Yeah. So, but it makes sense for him to say like we're breaking up. This relationship's over. So, yeah. Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring. So let's talk about Cody now. Huge reaction, as you said, Brian, from the crowd. Cody Rhodes said Cena thought the fans had given him their worst, but they've also given him their best. They did that for 25 years because he was special and because he could carry it. Cena then replied, said, listen, kid, but Cody cut him off and said, enough. Cody Rhodes told him it wasn't kid, it was WWE champion. I love that. It's like, I'm not like you're below you. I'm your equal at this point. Cody was excited to go face to face with the real John Cena, but he got this instead, just pointing out John Cena standing in the ring. This version of Cena better not show up at WrestleMania because Cody would run it over. Cody already took Cena's best shot, but it wasn't enough. Cody would retire him early. And Cody told him to go find the real John Cena because he wanted to fight that Cena, not this whiny bitch. He's talking about the real Cena that's on the shirt and stuff. Cody dropped the mic and left as the crowd cheered him on. Cena, grabbed his little branded towel and left as the fans started booing him and saying the goodbye song. And then Michael Cole went off on him too. But yeah, we forgot to talk about the little kid that got called out. Like, what timing? John Cena is calling out the people in the crowd that support him. So you don't really support me. And he called out that little kid. That poor kid, his face, they cut to him and he looks like he looks shocked. He's like, oh my God, my favorite wrestler. I came to this show dressed like him, or he just bought the shirt because he had the little sticker still on his shirt. His parents bought him like new personalized John Cena wrestling gear merch, and John Cena called him out. Now, in the moment, that must suck. As a little kid, you don't know what's going on. Like, why is my favorite wrestler yelling at me? Right. But dude, 10, 15, 20 years from now, he's going to be a legend. When he gets older, he's going to appreciate that moment. Like, hell yeah, John Cena, his big heel turn, he called me out and I'm a star because of it. I think that's really going to happen. This guy can go off to do like wrestling appearances and go to conventions, WrestleCon. He can go to different, like, I'm the guy John Cena called out as like an 8-year-old, wherever how old this kid is. So, but yeah, your thoughts on that poor kid. He's like an instant meme now.
I thought it was great, man. And that's again, that just shows how great guys like Brock and Cena are. Um, like what Cena was saying and how he was saying it and what he was doing, pointing out all the, you have to know. It's like a veteran football or basketball player, right? He just
Yeah.
knows. He
Yeah.
knows. He doesn't have to go out there and he doesn't have to write, or it's like a rapper who's been in the game for 10 plus years, 15,
Yeah.
20 years. He doesn't have to write much. He doesn't have to do anything. He just goes out there. All he's got to do is just feel the energy, feel the crowd, and he can go off. And that moment for him to turn to that kid who screamed, "I love you."
That's great for
example.
and I would love to know if they ever reveal this. Like in that situation, did John Cena just saw the kid from in the rings, like, oh, I'm gonna call him out, or
Right.
did they plan it out like a cameraman and said, hey, there's a kid dressed over here that looks just like you. If you want to call him out, like, did they plan that out? Like, I'm gonna call. Does Cena tell them like, hey, I see this kid that looks like me. I'm gonna call him out. So make sure you get a camera on him, ready to go, get his reaction. Like, I would love to know kind of like the production details of how that works.
Right.
But
or like sometimes often like some wrestlers will go back and they'll tell wrestlers, hey, there's somebody wearing your shirt, or Cody, there's a kid.
Oh yeah. Someone else pointed it out.
That's actually, that'd be pretty cool if they did that. That's actually not bad.
I would love, it would be cool to find out I don't know if it's happened. Nothing's come out yet, but it would be cool if Cena maybe would have told the kid to come backstage and maybe told him like, hey, thank you for participating. I just want you to know this is all story. I appreciate you playing along with this story. Here, let's take a photo, but don't post it online or anything. I would love to know if that would have happened. Like,
that'd be awesome.
Or did the kid just go home like upset, ripping up his John Cena shirt or something like that?
Should come back. That kid should come back on the road, like as we get.
They should fly to Las Vegas.
He should have Cody gear on.
Well, I was just gonna say, Cody should have went up to that kid afterwards and say, "I'm sorry, you can count on me now," and like give him a Cody Rhodes shirt and said like, "Take that off, put this on now." That would have been a great opportunity. What's that?
Have him hold the championship.
Yeah, that would have been a great. Like Cody says, "Listen, I'm sorry, you do not need to take that from John Cena. You got me now. I got your back, kid." So that would have been great. So with that being said, I enjoyed this opening segment, John Cena's first promo since turning heel. You're right, though. I think there's more layers to his heel character that he needs to explain why he did what he did, his actions. So hopefully we'll get that in future promos. And I hope, we get The Rock to come back. What's his role going to be in this main event? We don't know yet. I hope he's going to be involved. Is he going to be like a special enforcer? Is he going to be ringside? But they got the graphic now on the WWE website. I assume it's going to main event night 2. There's nothing else bigger on this show for WrestleMania this year. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. I've enjoyed all this so far. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's talk about some of the other stuff we saw on Raw as far as the build here. I do want to touch on the main event here for the Intercontinental title. So we saw Braun Breaker take on Finn Balor. Braun Breaker won after Dominic was trying to get involved and help Finn. It was a pretty basic cookie cutter, just typical Judgment Day involvement. Carlito distracts the ref, and then Dominic comes up and tries to interfere. So it's like one guy's on one side of the ring, the other guy's on the other side of the ring, creating a distraction, and the other guy tries to take out the guy that the Finn was taking on. It was just like, I'm so bored with those type of finishes. The Judgment Day matches are becoming so obvious, so predictable, so formulaic. They really need to do something here. I don't know if the Judgment Day just needs to break up and be over with. I'm just kind of done with it. But yeah, Dominic's involvement. Finn was standing on the top corner. He fell, crushed his nuts, and then Braun Breaker was able to take advantage and pick up the win, retain his title. And then Finn got mad at Dominic for causing him to lose. And then they were trying to beat down Braun, but Penta came out, made the save. Penta picked up the IC title, stared at it, handed it to Braun Breaker. So there's two parts here. Braun Penta IC title that seems to be next, and also the future of Judgment Day. So let's talk about the IC title. We saw Penta earlier in the night declare he wants to go after the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the end of Raw this week, it looks like Braun Penta, that could be the direction for WrestleMania, a one-on-one match. Your thoughts on them two going at it?
I'd rather that than a multi-man match. I initially
Okay.
didn't want it because I feel like Braun kind of got got snubbed of an opportunity to go on a very lengthy, meaningful Intercontinental Championship
Last year
run.
when Jey Uso won it off him.
Yeah, when Jey Uso, yeah, exactly. So but now that he has it back, he's just not really wrestling very much at all.
Yeah.
So I
It's
feel
been
like that's become a
underwhelming.
trend. I feel like that's become a trend with all champions.
Yes.
All the main champions in WWE now. It's like they don't wrestle unless it's like a PLE or something like that. But yeah, I'm okay with Penta. I'm okay with Penta challenging for the championship. It's different, right? He's winning, right, as opposed to just winning one or two matches the week before the show, and then hey, we're gonna give you a championship match. So that's what gives a potential Penta versus Braun Breaker match some weight to it, because it's like, okay, he's actually he's actually the number one contender. He's been winning all his
earned
matches.
it.
He's earned it. So
Yeah, he's been beating up Ludwig and Pete Dunne, and he's been on a roll since he's debuted with the company. He's been on a tear. He's been so well over with the crowd. His promotion or his promos have been awesome, and so I'm with you. I think Braun versus Penta, that would be a great match. It's something different, but you're right. I do feel bad for Braun Strowman. Like, both his IC title reigns have been kind of underwhelming. And that's not necessarily his fault. It's just the creative decision, but they just haven't given him much to do. I know it was Paul Heyman's been working with him behind the scenes, but I would like to see more character development out of Braun Breaker, like who he is as a person, and just
kind of put a pause on that too.
Yeah. So I with that being said, though, as we know, like WrestleMania, it's like the season finale for WWE TV and the storylines. There's a lot of happy endings there. So I imagine if Penta and Braun's going to be the match at WrestleMania, I imagine Penta is probably going to win. Not to do an early prediction here, but he's so over with the crowd. What better way to reward that than give him an IC title win and have him be champion? But then I feel bad. You're right. That's two kind of lackluster IC title reigns for Braun Breaker. I love Braun Breaker. My brother loves Braun Breaker. Like, he's a badass. He's a Steiner. Like, I want it the most out of him, unless he drops the title and maybe then he gets bumped up to the main event title scene at some point.
True.
Maybe that's what's outlook for him for the rest of 2025. But yeah, it's just so yeah, we'll see how it goes there. Judgment Day, though. This story has ran its course. This faction has ran its course. I think it's kind of done. There's been this long tension building up between Finn Balor and Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio specifically. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, someone's going to turn on someone. I know Dominic, when he grabbed the IC title to try to use it, he stared at it. And a lot of people said, like, looks like Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be the match, is like Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Is that going to be a WrestleMania match? Is that like going to be on the Raw after Mania, or the Raw on the go home episode of before WrestleMania? I think that's what's going to happen. But also, man, just Finn Balor, he's just not the same guy anymore. He's just he's the guy now that helps get other people over. He just takes pins and losses to get other people over. And remember, was it end of last year? Was it WrestleVotes who said Finn Balor's getting praise for being like a locker room leader and he's going to have a big 2025? He hasn't had a big year. He's been losing a lot. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on just Judgment Day? And like, I imagine this is going to end sometime soon. I hope so.
So I think Judgment Day as a whole is probably not going anywhere.
Oh,
I do. I do think that they're gonna be subtracting someone, and it looks like it's gonna be Finn.
okay.
Finn and Dom, and the way that things are panning out between them, and you include Liv and Raquel. It's very much. It's almost like copy and paste from what they did with Finn and Damian Priest. Finn was coming out
Okay.
helping Damian Priest when he was on the rise, when he was defending his championships and trying to do his thing, and he didn't want the help. And then it turned out that Finn screwed him out, and it's just like, hey, like you didn't keep up your end of the deal. This is supposed to be a family, like you got in your head type thing. Now it's happening to Finn. Finn's getting in his head. He's kind of, I feel like he's a little paranoid, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever he sees someone like coming as an acting leader of Judgment Day, whether it's Liv or Dom, he doesn't like that. And so now he's kind of trying to take ownership of the whole group. And now Dom seems like he doesn't like it, but at the same time, he's trying to help Finn. Now he's the one putting him in matches, making matches, doing things, going to Adam Pearce. So
trying to add a member.
Yeah, trying to add a member.
Well, that's the thing. He said, I think we should add Penta to the group. And Finn's like, are you crazy? Did you not? Or you saw earlier, he declared he wants the Intercontinental title. He wants the title that I want. Like, we're not going to have him in the same group. And then Carlito said, do you not watch the TV show? That was funny. So sorry not to cut you off, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
I feel like Judgment Day with the right people could pick back up again. I almost think that they need to scrap the whole no leader thing, and they need to just finally announce an actual leader to the group, and then they need to go on it, and everyone needs to be very aware of their roles in the group.
Okay.
And they need to just go on a tear again, because man, when they were tag team champions, they were having such great matches, especially after WrestleMania, when they were going up against Kevin and Sammy, and they were doing all these different things. So I feel like there's still potential for the Judgment Day. I feel like it feels weird. I just feel like there's no Monday Night Raw without Judgment Day. They're such a huge part of the show, whether they're in the ring or they're in the clubhouse. There's no JD right now, so they can't break up without JD. He's got to come back.
Yeah, like I said, something needs to happen, because it's been very predictable. It's been kind of the same stuff over and over every single week of there's tension. Finn doesn't trust anyone. People are making own decisions behind his back and presenting to him last minute. And something's going to happen. Something needs to break, and it needs to hit that boiling point and just finally spill over. And let's take this story to the next level and move on here. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, like Finn Balor, like, I don't know at this point if it's too late to recover him as a character and what he means or what he can provide for the company anymore. It just he's just known as the guy who just eats losses now, and I feel bad. He's one of the, all-time greats of the last like 10 years. So they got the Finn Balor 10-year anniversary shirt of his time in WWE. So I don't know. Like I said, I want the best for Finn, but right now they're just not really giving him much to work with. I mean,
Triple H and Rock, man, they're long gamers.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Also, let's talk about Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. So this week on Raw, it was supposed to be the contract signing with WWE Women's World Champion Io Sky and Bianca Belair with Adam Pearce. So in the ring, they were trying to sign the contract. Instead, Rhea Ripley interrupts them. Each of them had like a moment on the microphone, sharing back and forth some quick jabs, some promo time. The crowd loved Io Sky. She was like, yeah, like,
yeah,
Io's awesome. I love Io. But then Bianca Belair, crowd loved her too. And then Rhea Ripley comes out, beats up both of them, slams them on the table, stacked them. Is that supposed to be like Roman Reigns when he stacked Edge and Daniel Bryan? A little foreshadow there. But then she grabbed the contract, the document, took out the pen and signed it herself, added her name. And Adam Pearce is like, what are you doing? That's not legally allowed. And she's like, yes, it is. And she jumps out of the ring and walks out like a little kid running away, like, nah, 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 nah. And I'm like shaking my head.
Charlotte told her she got to stop acting like a kid.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up. But I'm like, I don't know about you, Brian, but I've not humble brag. I've signed a few contracts in my radio career. A legal binding contract. You look at the paper. They print out the name. Who's this contract designed for or typed up for? And then there's a line where you add your signature to make it official. With that being said, this document, I'm sure it said Women's World Champion Io Sky and Challenger Bianca Belair. It only needs 2 signatures to make it official. Rhea Ripley just adding her name, that's not legally allowed. So I'm watching this and like, this is not real. Like, this is not allowed. So I just laughing. And after the commercial break.
That's like if you bought a brand new house and I came over there and I hit you with a steel chair and then I signed the paper.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Anytime someone's about to sign like an official contract, you come up behind, hit them, and you sign it, and it's like, add your signature. It's mine too now. Like, so Rhea Ripley, is this her way to add herself to make it a triple threat? But it's not legally allowed. So
Michaels did it.
Well, okay, yeah, and that's the thing. I know Triple H is probably doing a callback there. What was that one for when Shawn Michaels did it?
Was WrestleMania 20 with him, with Shawn, Triple H, and Benoit.
That's right. Okay.
Triple threat world title match.
So, but that's the thing. Adam Pearce, after the commercial break, is telling Rhea, like, Rhea, that this cannot happen. That's not how it's done. It's legal. And she's like, yes, it is. Yes, she's like being like a little kid, like, And I'm just like, and then Bianca and Io come back and they start fighting again. So
I feel like that part of Rhea and like how like crazy she's acting right now for her character. I know that a lot of people were talking about after she lost the championship, her promo she did that they posted on Twitter or X, where she talked about how, you know, she lost focus and Bianca was out there and she was just so excited and prepared to, you know, have a match with Bianca, and how Bianca was cheering on Io and how that made her mad. And now it just seems she just comes across like she's just extremely jealous now. I got it when she said how mad she was, and that's why she was screaming and yelling at Bianca when she was ringside. But now you're just jealous. And the way she's coming across isn't like she's out for revenge or anything like that. Bianca even put out something on Twitter today where she kind of explained. She was like, you can win the Royal Rumble, you can win the Elimination Chamber, you can number one contenders, all these different things. That's how you get a championship match. But now you can just say, you can just go sign anything and just say that you deserve to be in the match.
Yeah. like, okay, so 2 things here I'll just end on with this segment. One, okay, they can't let this contract situation play out like that, make that official. Like, Rhea needs to earn her spot in. It's obvious they're going to make this a triple threat, but Rhea needs to earn her spot in that match somehow. Yeah. I said, was it last week or the week before, maybe Bianca and Rhea have a match on Raw, and it's like the number one contendership's on the line, but it's like a wonky finish, and they decide to add both of them to the match and make a triple threat. Something. You just got to earn Rhea.
Double pin.
Rhea needs to earn her spot in that match somehow. And then two, also, it's interesting. All 3 ladies are baby faces. So it's a really interesting dynamic. All of them are loved by the crowd. So maybe Rhea acting this way is trying to like be a little bit more, come off as a little bit, I don't know, goofy to the crowd. I don't know how to describe it. Like they're all baby faces there. So how that's going to be, it's going to be interesting how they handle that dynamic of all 3 of them. Everyone cheers for all 3 of them in the ring. So it's like they're going to cheer for whoever wins this match here. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, especially for Bianca Belair in this match, because she is technically undefeated at WrestleMania. She doesn't have an Undertaker streak going yet, but you know, I think it's like she's 4-0 now or something. So we'll see how that goes. So also on Raw this week, we saw Jey Uso squash Austin Theory in like less than a minute, if that. He came out, hit him with a couple moves and pinned him. And then after the match, where Austin Theory and Grayson Waller trying to beat him up, he tried to dive over the rope, but had a top dollar moment and like
Oh
little
man.
short and flipped over and hit the apron of the ring, but he jumped back up and he quickly was, you could see him mouth, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But
Yeah.
it was a squash match. Austin Theory did not look good. Going back to what we said earlier, he beat John Cena at WrestleMania 2 years ago, and he's been on this downfall ever since. Like
Mm-hmm.
him and Grayson Waller lost a triple threat match against Obafemi against for the NXT title a few weeks ago.
Feel
Or
like they've
last,
been teasing a split between those two for a year now, a little over a
yeah,
year,
something
maybe.
needs to happen with them. Like they're both just role players at this point. But what I want to get on real quick is Jey Uso and Austin Theory. That video of their match that was on the WWE YouTube channel got a lot of dislikes, a lot of thumbs down compared to thumbs up. A lot of
Mhm.
people are hating on this match, and a lot of people are starting to give some hate to Jey Uso.
Mhm.
My takeaway is I think people are just frustrated that the build between Jey Uso and Gunther for the world title has been so lackluster. It's been, like I said at the top of the podcast, this episode's about the build to WrestleMania and the different stories and what do we feel about that.
Yeah.
It's been not a good build. It's really all it's been Gunther coming out and says, terrible decision your part. You should not pick me since you won the Royal Rumble. You will regret that. I will beat you up every single week on the road to WrestleMania. He's been like putting him in sleeper holds and then like even Gunther was on SmackDown this week and took on Axiom. And then he confronted Jimmy Uso and said, hey, tell your brother he should not wrestle me. I don't know. What do you think about the build between Jey Uso and Gunther?
I thought it was going somewhere in the beginning with I really enjoyed at least the first 2 weeks after he initially said that he was going to make it was going to be 10 weeks of hell for Jey Uso.
Yeah.
When he came out and he had the match with Tozawa and then Otis to follow up, I thought that he was just leading by example, showing him week after week, like, hey, like, do you want this to happen to you? Look what I'm doing to your friends. Look what I'm doing to everybody. You can throw anybody at me, and I'm gonna dominate. And I thought it would eventually lead up to a personal moment where and I don't know, maybe this will happen still. I don't know. I thought it was leading up to a personal moment that maybe he goes after Jimmy and then makes it personal now. And that's how Jay digs deep to have that. Okay, it's time
I
to
like
lock
that.
in.
I like that idea.
Season, you're not gonna hurt my brother, and because it seems like he brings Jey Uso is at his best when he's won, when he's doubted, when he's dealing with any kind of adversity, when he's been beat up, bruised, battered. But the number one thing is when you mess with his brother. That's when I feel like he goes after you.
Good point.
And hopefully, we still got a couple of weeks. Hopefully something like that happens. It's just, and if that does happen, I'll say so far the build up to whatever they're gonna do, whether it's on the go home show or whatever to WrestleMania, it's just not good. And at first I was like, oh well, at least Gunther looks good. Now I just feel like, he's not really doing anything anymore either. And now Jay is being paired up with Austin Theory, and that's not a good look because those guys, we just, Austin Theory's been on a losing streak. Grayson Waller's, all he does is talk,
Well, you're right. Well, no, I was just gonna say it's becoming predictable. It's the same formula. It's like Jey Uso wrestles, then Gunther attacks him, and Gunther tells him, "I'm gonna make you regret for picking me," and it's just kind of the same stuff. And like Gunther, his character has become kind of one dimensional. I love Gunther. Like he's like my favorite guy to wrestle on WWE every single week. But like what he's been doing on the mic and stuff, like they have to pull away brawls. You can only do that so many times when that's the same thing over and over. And it's like he just keeps telling them like, you're not at my level, Jay, you're not at my level. That's why you should not pick me. Like I'm gonna make you regret picking me as the Royal Rumble winner for this title. It's just it's like I need more layers to this story, and we're not getting that right now. So we'll see. I like the idea of how maybe bring Jimmy Uso into this and that's how you get Jay more fired up. Because as of right now, it doesn't look like Jimmy has anything planned for WrestleMania. So maybe using him as a story beat gives him something to do. So I like that idea, what you said. So we shall see.